Good morning, loves. How are you? Today we're just gonna freestyle because there's just major things recalibrating, as I'm sure many of you feel from my last video where we spoke about the powerful recalibration and the effects of the energies that we're currently working in and how those will be working with us and being embodied over the next several weeks and months. Okay, so the energies and messages that are coming through, the themes that we're talking about, these will be things that we continue to work with. And I think that that's actually a really important message to drop into right there because we experience things in the present moment or in the recent past and we can feel the energetics of those being grounded and stabilized. And we want to start experiencing the effects of those immediately. And although we do to some degree, it still takes time and space for us to fully embody and enact the activations and the energies that we've been receiving. And this is just part of the ascension process that we are working through as we unravel out of the old and move into the new. So, oh yeah, real quick, I wanted to let you guys know I actually, in these energies, I was actually guided to delete all my other socials. I'm being guided to really focus and harness my energy here with you guys for now. And if you want, I know some of you reach out to me on some of those socials. So just know that you can obviously come here and comment on the channel, or you're still welcome to email me at Danielle at harmonioushearts.life or find me on my website. Okay. So I'm just really being guided to concentrate on the new as the old stories are unraveling. And this is the theme that we've been speaking about. And it's all correlated with our ability to release any of the old attachments and truly drop into surrender of honoring and following the guidance we receive from our highest self. Okay. So everything you experience here with me is a result of the guidance I receive from my higher self because I'm in a pretty constant state of co-creation with those energies, and that is what leads me. Okay, so if I'm here talking about the messages here on the channel, it's because we are co-creating them together, especially for those of you who are here with me more consistently showing up, you're probably going to notice that the messages make more sense and are more pertinent to you. The same thing for those of you who resonate with my sessions or my groups. Those are all co-created with me and with you and our higher selves, right? So we're looking at what we're wanting to experience or expand on or embody into as a collective and as individuals. And that's what we're doing here on this channel in this community. Okay. I'm excited because I can tell that we have multiple creations in the works. And they're obviously not quite ready to land, but there's a lot that's happening. And so that's very exciting. And because there is so much incredible energy here, I've just, like I said, been guided to focus here. It also makes sense because I created this channel in my new foundation, where for me, my old socials were created a long time ago, and it just feels time for me to allow those things to fall away so that there's space for the new to arise. Okay. Um, Sharing that one, so obviously you know that I'm not going to be on those socials anymore, and but I will be present here. But also, it feels like important to share how important it is for us to be following our guidance and trusting it, even when it doesn't necessarily seem logical. And it's important for us to move into that alignment and embodiment and follow the guidance as we're asking for our highest timeline. And sometimes we don't always fully know or understand the full implications of what we're being guided to do in the moment. But you may find that as you just trust and follow the steps as you're being guided, they are ultimately leading you where you are meant to be, even if they seem a little bit uncertain, or, like I said, maybe they don't seem very logical in the moment to the general collective, right? But overall, if they feel supportive to what your higher guidance is, this is where that trust fall comes into play. And ultimately, you're trusting yourself. And so this goes into those messages that we were speaking about in the most recent video, which is as the masculine collective brought in, right? As the masculines are dropping into trusting themselves more, it's allowing more trust in the connections, but this goes for our internal energies as well. And those messages may come through via the masculine collective or via the feminine collective. But in my opinion, those are things that we are all working on internally within our own inner union energies. And so, however they come through, yes, you may notice this in the bigger collectives and have the awareness that the collective is working on some of these themes, but ultimately, it's really about your own internal journey. And the deeper you focus on that and trust yourself and take care of yourself and unravel out of your old defense mechanisms and protective mechanisms. And like I said, the natural protection is your own love. It is your own energy, your own embodiment of your own true essence and natural nature. And when the deeper I get into this work, it's kind of almost astounding how much we were, as a human race, like really taught to go against our natural nature in so many facets. It's very interesting. We could get into the intricacies, but at the end of the day, for whatever reason, we're all here in this essence, learning these lessons and unraveling and dissolving out of them, which to me is the most exciting part, that we are ready to move into our true freedom and sovereignty as beings and regaining our true natural nature with all of the amazing wisdom that we've learned along the way, which ultimately has allowed us to drop into true forms of unconditional love and unity consciousness, because we allowed ourselves to go into experiencing the extremes. And as we embrace all of the parts of who we are as beings, like I said, the dark, the light, the shadows, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of those different things, right? We're learning that all of it is serving a higher purpose. And every experience that we've had is ultimately there to support us in moving into our own higher sovereign energies, right? It's all about our perspective. And yes, it's layered in the sense that we're still responsible to hold um, boundaries for ourselves and to love ourselves and to drop the results of the energy we've been learning into the pockets where maybe in the past we were not able to do those things. But I want to acknowledge we weren't able to do them because we had to learn how to do it. And we were learning how to do it in a world that is actually literally constantly discouraging us from facing our fears and, you know, going into our sovereignty. So, those of you that are here and doing the work, I want you to please pat yourself on the back for your strength, for your courage, for your bravery to do something different, to allow yourself to build and create your own momentum into your own natural nature. Because to me, that is the biggest gift that you can give to yourself and to the world. And I'm so incredibly grateful for the presence of those of you here with me, allowing yourself to go through these processes in whatever way you are guided. And I just really, truly want to thank you and share my gratitude for, again, your presence and your willingness to face yourself ultimately at the end of the day, right? Because any moment that we allow ourselves to drop into our fears, in the sense, and somebody asked me, Danielle, what do you mean when you say drop into things? What I mean is actually face them head on without running, without freezing, and without walling. To just be able to be present with your discomfort and allow yourself to dissolve the discomfort so that you can bring true love into those places and spaces. Because in truth, it's all okay, right? So if we can, as the fears come up, or the discomforts, or the anxieties, as they come up, if one of the most powerful things you could do, like I said, is to drop into it and be willing to face it. And within facing it, allow yourself to support yourself, okay? Support yourself physically, support yourself emotionally and spiritually. Get yourself the support that you need, whatever it is, right? And trust yourself. Yes, there's this combo. I had this conversation last week with someone who's like, it's this journey is about the self and it is about self-sourcing. And it's a very important part of unraveling out of the codependency. And then there is this other side of it when it's okay to know that it's a good thing to ask for support and to reach out for it, okay? So we're in this dance of self-sourcing, right? But then also knowing when, okay, this person or these places or these things have codes or messages or supports for me that are going to help me grow even faster or even broader or even wider. Okay. So, yes, of course, you want to drop into your self sourcing. But if you are finding yourself in a pocket where you have some holes, then go ahead and look for those supports. Okay. This is why we're here. I just do not believe that we're meant to do everything alone all of the time. But yes, we are meant to also cultivate and drop into that self trust. And part of the self trust is knowing when it's okay to get yourself support and outside assistance. All right. I don't even know why that just came in, but I think that, it's something that I went through for a time myself. And I've really landed with all of these topics that it's everything is like this dance, right? And you just have to find for yourself what actually feels supportive. Because if you're in an energy of judging yourself or beating yourself up or holding these um energies or expectations of perfection versus progress, it feels important that you're noticing those things and then allowing yourself to actually dissolve out of those, because ultimately it is about dropping in those energies of unconditional love for yourself. And to me, some of the main indicators that we can look for to know that we're on the right path is that you're noticing progress. That's how you know you're moving in the right direction, loves. It's like I said, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Okay. We are all human, we're all on this journey, and we're all unraveling and dissolving out of some major, major distortions and delusions. Okay. So be gentle with yourself, because some of those things come up sometimes. They're gonna. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means that that was in your system and you didn't know it, and now you do. So now that the spotlight is on it, you can actually work with it. Okay. And I know that I repeat this a lot here on the channel. And I do that because The old programming taught us that if something comes up or we feel uncomfortable or patterns are coming up again, that we did something wrong or that we're bad or that we did not do good enough. And I'm here to just tell you that that's not true. If you're working on yourself, if you're attempting to move into self mastery and unconditional love and unity consciousness, and you've dropped yourself into aligning with your highest timeline and you're asking for truth, then whatever comes up is coming up because that's how you're weeding the garden so that you can align to where you're meant to be, loves. Okay. And I just feel exceedingly grateful again to be able to be here with you as we go through these processes that are both intense and sometimes uncomfortable, but also beautiful because it's through those discomforts and facing those discomforts that the garden grows. Okay. Hmm. I didn't know if I was going to do this, but I do feel guided to get a card from the masculine collective and a card from the feminine collective, just as a support for an inspiration for where we are right now, for all of the amazing work that you've been doing and continuing to do, and where we're headed. And let's just see what wants to come through. I'm going to also pick one from the feminine collective. Okay. So this came in the other day last week, I think, and it came in from the masculines. And this goes so well with the messages that we're also talking about. And it's card number one. Okay. So as we're moving into these new beginnings, what's happening is we're tidying up our home. We're tidying up our bodies, our homes, our world, our life, and we're gaining clarity and organization in the process. Now, I can use myself as a perfect example. I told you I just, deleted my other socials and I'm bringing clarity and organization and focus here with you and some other things in my personal life, but I'm concentrating my focus into the places and spaces where it feels the most aligned. So, this is a perfect example of some of the energies of what you can do. Look at what you have going on in your life. This is such a masculine energy, right? Our masculine energy is our organizing and stabilizing energy. Okay. And so it's it makes sense how I told you I was cleaning up my house this week and help or my home and helping my dad with his house and really starting to get things in order in the physical world. So I'm sensing I feel this energy and I work with people on this. So you probably most of you have heard this is that get yourself a piece of paper if need be and start to create circles or boxes or containers. And it's not to limit yourself, but to allow certain topics that you're working on to organize themselves so that you can start to feel the flow of the overall picture. Not exactly sure exact why that came in that way, but it felt like maybe there's a few of you that are having some different projects you're working on or different ideas that you have, and they seem interconnected, and they are. But what I'm being shown is that they're kind of like there's a few of them that are going to work together and become one project, but there's others that are actually going to grow into their own mighty oak, so to speak. And so they're needing their own personal container to have the space to grow. So when you draw or write things out, you can start to sort through and ask to bring clarity to your organization. Wow, I can feel that in my system as we're doing that. So awesome. I love this message. Thank you, dear Divine Masculines, for bringing this through. This feels exceedingly important always as we're dropping into embodiment in stabilizing into the new energies, but it feels very good in this organization process and the containers, because what happens when we allow ourselves to organize, you think of something being contained as that sometimes that might feel squished, but sometimes it's actually the opposite because you can make infinite containers. right? So you're not really squishing it. What you're doing is organizing. And the more organized you become, and the more space each one of your ideas has, those seeds can actually begin to grow versus like if you throw a whole bunch of seeds into one pot, they will all start to grow. But then what happens? They overgrow and they start to squish each other out. But if you contain them each within their own pot, they each have their own space to grow. So think about it in those terms. What you're doing is actually not squishing yourself into one small pot. You are allowing yourself to grow in multiple containers so that each of your creations feels safe and has a stable place to grow, right? It's not just out there in the wild, like one little plant trying to grow in the forest, right? Which we know some of them do grow, which is amazing. But because this is your garden and your farm, you get to start them in the containers until they're strong enough to go into the earth, right? All the way alone. Yeah, just roll with this however it feels right to you. But I think a big part of it is that because we are moving so deeply into the new, the masculines want us to be okay and to be comfortable with having containers and allowing ourselves to have multiple containers within the bigger containers. We're going to just let that sit there. I feel like there was a lot within that. Now let's see what the feminines would like to bring in. Oh, wow. Okay, we got three from the feminines. We got clarity. That's like the feminines are in alignment with the masculines, and they're saying clarity is planning and releasing illusion. Okay, so yes, organization power, adjustment, looking back and moving forward. So taking what we've learned from the past, allowing what no longer working, letting it go and adjusting into the timeline that we're meant to be in, and circle of eternal joy, timelessness, and the dance of life. So beautiful. So the feminines are bringing in this energy and essence of the clarity as well, and allowing yourself to look back, learn what you need to learn, and let go of those old stories so that you can step forward into your future, into your new foundation, and truly begin to create this container of eternal joy for yourself. Are there going to be things that we're experiencing within this? Again, that might be uncomfortable. Of course. But your container of joy and happiness and stability and truth and love is going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And the stronger we get into these new energies, the less and less the old discomforts are going to affect us. They might be present, but imagine, okay, so you have a little plant. It's this big and it's full of ants, right? Those ants might tickle the plant or make it a little bit annoyed because the ants are overwhelming to that little plant. But if it grows into a mighty oak tree or a giant pine, all of a sudden those ants are just part of the forest. They're part of the life cycle and supporting the tree, right? So it's important that as we allow ourselves to grow, we build the muscle, we build the protection, we build the reciprocity and camaraderie with the world around us. But we have to allow ourselves to go through these growing pains in order to build the strength and the muscle to develop and grow into the forest and the oaks and the farms and all of that. All right, loves. I love it. I'm going to leave it here. This is a very beautiful message. I love that once again, the masculine and feminine collectives are both working on clarity and organization, harmonizing these beautiful energies together. And I will see you soon. Look forward to it, loves. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.